excuse my appearance. My hair is still nerfed from when I stayed in VC for 2 days and made an impulsive decision to cut my hair. Anyways, that's besides the point. Let's start with Skibidi Toilet. This will be a short summary of episodes 1 to 32, which I called Unit 1, as it goes from the start to a major turning point in the story. So let's start with episode 1. Episode 1, the first thing we see is a Skibidi Toilet, right? It's going, Skibidi dob dob dob, yes, yes, Skibidi dob bri bri, right? And that's the end of episode 1. Pretty simple, a good introduction to the Skibidi Toilets. Episode 2 shows 3 Skibidi Toilets. To be more precise, Skibidi Urinals. In my recollection, I don't think any more urinals ever show up, but it's just to show how the Skibidi Toilets are growing in size. You know, they went from 1 to 3, or maybe 4, because, you know, the one Skibidi Toilet was a toilet, while these 3 are urinals, you know? Anyways, episode 3 is pretty important. So episode 3, we see a giant Skibidi Toilet, and we see other Skibidi Toilets on the sides of it. The big Skibidi Toilet runs over a guy walking along the road, right? This is supposed to show the growing size and power of the Skibidi Toilets. But it also exposes more about the Skibidi Toilets. Not only is this symbolic because it shows how the Skibidi Toilets see themselves as bigger and better than like other groups of people, it also shows how exactly like the Skibidi Toilets affect society. They are hurting people. They are a danger to society because they have hurt society by, you know, just hurting random civilians. So they do pose a real danger. This is going to come up later. Skibidi Toilet episode 4, we see a Skibidi Toilet maybe just like disrupt a meeting. I don't know what kind of meeting it is, but with some thought, we can assume that maybe it's like a political meeting. Maybe it's just a fun meeting between like rich people, or maybe it's just a party. Either way, the Skibidi Toilets are slowly infiltrating into other facets of life. Now, I'd say that episode wasn't too important, but it is still it does still show a lot about what's it called, about about the Skibidi Toilets. My apologies. Episode 5, if I remember correctly, all we see are flying Skibidi Toilets, the development of flying Skibidi Toilets. It is important because, like, throughout the series, we do see flying Skibidi Toilets, like, everywhere after that, right? If I remember, episode 6 was a DJ episode where the Skibidi Toilet was in the club, right? If you see us in the club, we'll be acting real nice. If you see us on the floor, we'll be dancing all night. That one. Anyways, we see it could show how the Skibidi Toilets did infiltrate kind of like underground, like kind of like clubs and like those kind of groups that hang around there. Like, I don't know, do the mafia hang out in DJs and clubs like that? I don't know, but it further shows how they're kind of integrating themselves into like other like facets of society, right? And I think it's pretty important. Episode 7, I believe, is the first time we see how to defeat a Skibidi Toilet, and that's by pulling the flush up on the Skibidi Toilet. So, they're different from, you know, toilets conventionally. Skibidi Toilets are like this, and they have the toilet bowl, of course, but instead of having the flush where you go like this, you go like whoosh to flush it, right? I don't think this episode has much significance other than showing how to defeat the Skibidi Toilets, right? Episode 8, we see the Skibidi Toilets and the cameramen actually going, like, you know, at it. Not going at it. This is kind of the first big scale confrontation we can see it as, and I think I see it as the start of a war. Not the start of the Skibidi Toilet War, because I think that's much later on, but this is the start of a potential war. I think, yeah, at this point, I still believe there were chances of negotiations of peace. Episode 9 is really important when you look at it symbolically. So, episode 9 portrays the Skibidi toilets erecting a statue of a toilet. And on the statue, there's a picture of the Skibidi toilet that we saw in episode 1, I think. What this is supposed to show is how the Skibidi toilets are starting to make propaganda. They're starting to, try and influence the public into taking in their beliefs and stuff like that, right? This supports the idea that the Skibidi toilets are kind of like, they want to limit media. They want to control media. They want only their beliefs and ideologies to exist in the world, right? And the cameramen combat this by spray painting over the Skibidi toilet portrait, supposed to show they're resisting against the Skibidi toilets. But it also shows us the cameraman's side. They're on the side of freedom. They're on the side of free speech, of being able to think freely. However, some people see episode 10 as a contradiction to that. In episode 10, we see the development of a Skibidi toilet church, or kind of like a religion of sorts. But the cameramen infiltrate the church and take them down. Now, if this was to happen in real life, if the police went to a Christian church and shut it down for the sole fact that they were spreading Christian ideas, there would be mass outrage. And that's kind of the main argument for the Skibidi toilets at this point. However, we have to remember that these ideas aren't just ideas of, like, faith. They're ideas that ultimately affect the way they treat other people in society. And they start hurting other people because of these. So it really does set up that kind of dilemma. Should the cameramen fight the Skibidi toilets because their beliefs are inherently dangerous to society? Or should they allow their beliefs to proliferate because they believe in freedom of speech? Ultimately, the cameramen chose the former and took action against the Skibidi toilets. I should probably jump ahead to episode 12, where we see the development. I'm just gonna skip over episode 11. We see the development of Skibidi toilets with laser eyes, right? And then in episode 13, we see the development of cameramen with robots that have, like, laser things on their underbelly that look like peepees. I think, yeah, if you were there during the lecture, the actual lecture, you saw it. We also saw a flying Skibidi toilet and the cameraman flushing that. Let me think. 15 is important because we see how the Skibidi toilets handle confrontations. We know that how the cameramen handle confrontations. I don't know if I said Skibidi toilets. Anyways, the cameramen are most definitely outnumbered. The Skibidi toilets had a head start in gaining numbers. And the way the cameramen are forced to take their role is by using their brains over their brawns. In episode 15, we see a lone cameraman running away from a horde of Skibidi toilets, only for the Skibidi toilets to be blown up by planted mines. This shows how the cameramen, though small in numbers, are big in brains. So they use their brains and tactics to win fights. Let me see, episode 16 is also important because we see the development of cameraman spyware. This will connect later to, I think, episode 27. Anyways, episode 17, we see G-Man giving a speech to other Skibidi toilets. G-Man Skibidi toilet giving a speech to other Skibidi toilets. He's sort of like the leader here, right? And we see the attempted assassination of him by using an orbital, like, not orbital, it's still within the atmosphere, but like a sky laser, right? It fails. This shows how the cameramen approach situations like this. They choose to be proactive about stuff like this. They don't just let the leader talk and guide the troops. They try to, cut the snake off at the head. But their failure to actually do so shows that despite their intelligence, their lack of power is still showing, right? Um, Episode 18, we see the introduction of the Titan cameraman, right? Um, and then episode 19 to 20, we just see them fighting. But then in episode 20, in episode 5, we do see the introduction of a kamikaze Skibidi toilet. In episode 20, we see the same thing, but the Skibidi toilet is much bigger and it has bombs attached to it to improve efficiency. However, keep in mind, in both situations, a Skibidi toilet is lost. Anyways, we see the Titan cameraman facing off against this G-Man Skibidi toilet. I'll just say G-Man. And he uses his laser eyes and the kamikaze Skibidi toilet to eventually win that battle. But the Titan cameraman does manage to flee. In episode 21, we see the cameraman interrogating a Skibidi toilet. Episode 22, we see the failure to flush the G-Man Skibidi toilet. They got on the toilet and were pulling it up, but they couldn't flush him. That's due to a lack of power. This lack of power would lead to the events in episode 23 and 24. So in episode 23, they attempted to create an even bigger Skibidi toilet. Not Skibidi toilet, cameraman. The cameraman failed to assassinate the G-Man Skibidi toilet yet again when they had him in their grasp. So they're creating an even bigger cameraman. And in episode 24, it's one of the most crucial episodes in the series. We see the first instance of the cameraman allying with the speakerman. Episode 25, we just see how they're interacting more and stuff. And then episode 26, episode 26, we do get introduced to Titan Speakerman. So this shows, this isn't just the introduction of the Titan Speakerman. In episode 23, we saw the development of a Titan cameraman. Now we see a Titan Speakerman. The Speakerman could not have done this without the technology provided by the cameraman. Throughout the series, there's a constant motif of the cameraman creating technology, and then the speaker heads and the TV heads utilizing that technology to beat the Skibidi toilets. Essentially, what this tells us is that nobody could do this without the cameraman. Anyways, we're gonna skip forward a little bit. 27, I think we saw extra... Oh, right. In episode 16, we saw the development of cameraman spyware, and then in episode 27, we see how it's further developed and improved upon, right? We can skip through episodes 28, 29, there's the development of the super fast Skibidi toilet, though I will note it's most likely not made through natural means. I'll say that much just in the short of it. Episode 30 is a really crucial turning point. We see the not even brainwashing, but the forceful controlling of a cameraman by implanting a Skibidi toilet into his brain. He wasn't conditioned to act for the Skibidi toilets. He was forced through his mind. I can't go into the ethics of it now, but I think it's just wrong. In 31, we see the repercussions of episode 30. And then episode 32, we see the Titan Speakerman being not brainwashed, I'd like to say infected by the Skibidi toilets. So that's Skibidi Toilets episode 1 to 32. I tried to cut out unnecessary episodes, and I'd say it's up to you to find any analysis in it. But you're free to join me whenever I'm in VC to talk more about Skibidi Toilet.